What's up, everyone? Dalton Hopkins with Frontstretch.com. I'm flanked to my right this evening, morning. I guess it's morning at this point by the one and only Michael Massie. I would say we just got done with the Daytona duels, but let's be honest, that ended a little while ago. It is 1 in the morning right now here at Daytona International Speedway, but nonetheless, that is only because we were working. We had a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff occurred this evening, but let's get with probably the biggest story that a lot of people were talking about. Well, actually, there's quite a few, but I think a lot of Junior Nation fans are talking about right now, and that, of course, is Justin Allgaier has raced his way into the Daytona 500. We'll start with him first. Junior Motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I have not seen an emotion out of he and Kelly Earnhardt like that, and maybe ever. Massie, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was really cool to see how happy they all were, and you knew when it was announced that he was going to be a fan favorite. I mean, he's already, I think he won most popular driver in Xfinity this past year, and Dale Jr. is obviously the most popular
Dale
driver,
Jr., yeah.
and it continues the Earnhardt legacy here at Daytona.
Do you see what we did there? We chose this spot for that.
And the camera inverts it so it looks like an E for Earnhardt instead of a 3. But it was really fascinating to watch, all the emotions of that. But, like, the race itself was really good, too. It wasn't just like a foregone conclusion that Justin was just going to cruise into it. I mean, first off, you had Chandler Smith get up there. He was the top running open car. Looked like him in a Carl Long car was going to race his way in. He made a bad block on Justin Haley. Wiped out himself, Haley, Elio Castroneves, who has to use the highly controversial open exemption provisional now. So there will be 41 cars in the Daytona 500, most we've had in a while.
Most we've had, I think, 2015?
2015, probably.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it's somewhere around there, yeah.
And then at the end of it, it was essentially Allgaier, J.J. Yaley, and Martin Truex Jr., who was locked in, but he could still race his way in, and that would have put Allgaier in as well. So it was like Yaley going against these two juggernauts, and he almost got it done. Like, I give NY Racing and Yaley a lot of credit, but at the end of the day, it was, Allgaier coming in clutch, getting it done. He'll be in the Daytona 500. It's really cool to see. Feel bad for Yaley, but it's a good story for Junior Motorsports.
Another great effort by Yaley. I mean, the second year in a row that he has almost defeated a NASCAR giant. Last year, almost beat Jimmy Johnson. This year, almost beat Dale Jr.'s race team, but did come up short, like you said. Justin Allgaier, that team overjoyed. I talked to them a little bit afterward. You can check that out on our YouTube page. And then the other duel, the other team that made it in, of course, and can you consider him an underdog? I mean, he stacked enough pennies to get himself a ride with Rick Ware Racing. That is Corey LaJoie in the 0-1 for Rick Ware. Yeah, let's talk about that. He races his way in, defeats some other names. What happened? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, to go along with what you're saying, apparently Corey used his kid's college fund to fund it, and then the sponsor came along and paid him back for it. That's a gamble. That's betting. That's literally betting on yourself. And it's cool to see it work out for him to make the race. Obviously, he was full-time driver last year. This year, he's just going to be part-time. And Rick Ware, I mean, they're better than they used to be. But when I talked to Rick after the race, he acted like they were still a little team. They're still an underdog going against it. So that was huge for them. But it's one of those things. Anthony Alfredo was the faster car in the second duel. He's the guy that probably should have raced his way in, but it's just luck of the draw on who gets in your duels, and he happened to be driving a Chevy in a duel with a bunch of really good Fords. And, I mean, it just the way it shook out was like it's all these Fords at front kind of boxing in LaJoie, keeping him safely in. Alfredo is right behind him. He can't do anything. He tried to do something, and it's just nobody went with him. He plummeted to the back, so Alfredo misses it. That's sad to see. I mean, Beard Motorsports is always pretty good at these races, but there's always a good side to bad side of these duels. So feel bad for Alfredo, but really cool to see LaJoie make it. And I mean, he's pretty good at these types of races. He could be a big sleeper pick.
And then, of course, there was the other driver that got knocked out later on, or I guess by the end of the race. It wasn't really much of a factor. We spoke to him for about 24 seconds. BJ McLeod also got eliminated from this event.
Yeah, BJ, I never really saw him in the picture to get it, and then it hurt things worse that when they had the green flag cycle, the stops. He said that they stayed too long. He had saved enough fuel to where they didn't really need to pit that long, and they stayed too long and lost track position. And with the way it was tonight, like once you lost track position, it was going to be hard to get it back. I mean, that's super speedway racing now. That's the world we live in. So feel bad for BJ, but he'll be back next week in Atlanta, and he'll be racing the 78 car then.
Certainly, they'll also feel good story there, but nonetheless, those drivers did make it in. Allgaier, another big popular story. He's in. Corey LaJoie, he is a story. He's in. So the field is set for the Daytona 500, but let's talk about who's starting third and fourth. Well, I guess second and third because of our winners in the duel races. Let's talk about the first one, of course. In case you didn't know, Bubba Wallace did actually win the first duel. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of people were probably more glued to the screen about the 40 car with Justin Allgaier and Dale Jr., but Bubba Wallace did get the win there. What your thoughts? I mean, these Toyotas look really strong.
Oh yeah, I mean he was doing it. I mean he had Reddick pushing him some, but it looked like he had that kind of car that could just get the job done. And I mean we'll talk about it in a second, but they weren't the only good Toyotas on the night. But yeah, Bubba, it's something about Daytona that anytime they show up here, I mean, even as a rookie, I remember him finishing second in the Daytona 500 here back in 2018. And it's just crazy. He shows up. He's got to be like, he might be, between him and like Ryan Blaney, like the best drivers. I don't know, because you could throw Keselowski in that mix as well. Like the best drivers that haven't won the Daytona 500 that are always right there in the picture. And it feels like he's due, and maybe getting that win tonight is enough to kind of, once he's gotten that taste of victory, he can take that next step and get that Daytona 500 win.
Yeah, a great night for him. Certainly revitalizing he in 2311 along with he and Tyler Reddick. And Toyota was this close. I mean, I don't know. Let's say, what was the distance? It was they were about this close, I want to say, to sweeping both of the duels for the second consecutive year. But this time it was Erik Jones who actually crossed the line first in duel number 2. He did cross the line first. I think he barely beat Austin Cindric, 2022 Daytona 500 champion Austin Cindric, to the line. And he was out of the car, and he was celebrating, and the fans were cheering, and it was a wonderful moment for he and Team Legacy Motors Club team owner Jimmie Johnson until an announcement came over the radio.
Yep, the announcement was that Austin Cindric is your winner, not Erik Jones. Erik Jones, you're only good enough for second place. So yeah, it was really awkward. Just the fact that like it was during the TV interviews, like they had to reveal, oh, Jones, you didn't actually win. Oh, Cindric, you actually won. So it was very awkward. It's funny to hear Cindric talk about it in his press conference, where he said he went to the flag stand and there's no flag man there to give him a flag, and
the flag man had already gone home.
Yeah, so kind of an awkward ending, and the disappointing thing, I think they ruled it. I mean, by the letter of the law, they ruled it correctly, right? But like in the record book right now, at least, it says Erik Jones led that lap, and that's just, we have these discrepancies now. I mean, we saw the Daytona 500 come down to it last year, which is the time of caution. 2021, same thing, where Michael McDowell barely beats Chase Elliott just because of the time of the caution. And I don't know. It's a tough thing, but I don't know what else to do about it.
It's affected some Daytona. It affected Daytona 500 last year with William Byron winning over Alex Bowman just by almost a second because they put that caution out so quickly. So certainly some controversy there. Nonetheless, spoke to both Erik Jones and Jimmie Johnson. They both understand, and they both are also very happy it wasn't Sunday's race where this occurred. Hopefully we don't see that again. But speaking of future races, we're done with Cup racing for now. We have Friday to look forward to, tomorrow night's truck race. I wish that we could give a really accurate pick, but practice got rained out today. So we don't really know who's fast and who isn't. But based off of a quick glance at the entry list, Massie, who's your pick to win tomorrow night's truck race?
Oh man, I really want to say Norm Benning, but because he's here, he's such a trooper. But no, I'm gonna go with the guy Ringer that is going for his first truck win and would complete the that thing of where you win in all 3 series. Michael McDowell is gonna win the race in a Spire car.
First time he's been in a truck in 16 years. Apparently, it's been a long time. That's wild. Will be interesting to see how he performs tomorrow night. I think, at least for my pick. By the way, just want to note, neither one of us were right about who would make it in through duel number 2. You picked BJ McLeod. I picked Anthony Alfredo. We were both wrong about that one. So I don't like our chances here, but I'm gonna say I'm actually gonna go with that number 45 of Caden Honeycutt. I don't know why, but this is Daytona. Anything can happen. I feel like that number 45 car is just a little bit overdue. He had some great runs last year, not just on super speedways, but some other tracks as well. I feel like there's a chance that we're gonna wreck just enough trucks tomorrow night, and Caden will be at least one of 5 that'll still be running by the end of it. So I like those chances there. But honestly, let's face it, it's a crapshoot, and we don't really know what's gonna happen tomorrow night. But what we do know is going to happen is that we will be here at Daytona International Speedway. Frontstretch will be covering everything. Hopefully we won't be here tomorrow night as late as we are right now. It's probably going to happen again, but we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't. Thank you all for watching. We really hope you're enjoying the coverage so far as we complete Day 2 of 2025 Speed Weeks. Keep watching. Stay tuned for more.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.